Lena was a young girl born into a life of comfort. Her parents, successful and affluent, had always made sure she had everything she could ever want. The latest clothes, private tutor, even the best vacations. There was nothing they wouldn't provide, but above all, she loved them. Her younger brother, Ade, was a lively boy, and three of them was the perfect family for her. They were her world, and she was thankful every day for the life they had given her. One day, she got the news about her best friend Chidima. Chidima had been confidante since childhood, and now she was facing the fight of her life. An emergency surgery to treat her rare illness. The doctors had said she needed to be operated soon, or she might not make it. Lena's heart broke for her best friend. She couldn't imagine losing her, not after all the years they had spent together. But there was a problem, which was that Chidima's family didn't have enough money to cover the surgery. She had spent all they had and even sold properties. Lena, on the other hand, couldn't stand the thought of losing Chidima. She needed to help. But how? She thought about it day and night, wrapped in guilt and sadness. Then an idea struck her. She remembered the large sum of money her parents kept in a safe for emergencies. It wasn't something they ever talked about, but Lena knew where it was. She thought deeply about her friend and couldn't watch her suffer because of money. And without a second thought, Lena sneaked into the study, unlocked the safe, and took a portion of cash. She didn't count it. She knew it was going to be enough to cover her for Chidima's surgery. She sent the money to Chidima's mother immediately, and when she confirmed that the money had been received, she felt relieved and started having hope for her friend. The next morning, however, her world began to unravel. Her parents noticed the missing money. At first, they thought they might have misplaced it, but after searching the entire house, they were sure it had been stolen. They called for everyone, Nina, Ade, housekeeper, the gardener, and questioned them all. Nina held her breath. She knew what she had done, but she was terrified of what might happen if they find out, so she denied. "I didn't take the money," she insisted, her voice trembling. Her parents were frustrated and upset, but they pressed on demanding answers. Everyone else denied it too, but in the end, they accused the gardener, a quiet man named Mr. David. He was an older man and the most trusted of all the workers. "You are the only one who knows how to get to the safe. I trusted you with that, please," Mr. Elvis said angrily and didn't listen to his pleas. He was convinced that only Mr. David could have taken the money.
Besides, he was going to resign the next week, so he was sure that Mr. David only wanted to run away with his money. David, on the other hand, had no proof. He had always been kind to Lena and Ade, but he was only a servant in their eyes. It was easier to believe him guilty than anyone else. Lena stood by, guilt weighing heavily on her chest. She didn't speak up. Mr. David got arrested, and Lena's heart ached with the knowledge that an innocent man was being punished because of her. She was convinced, trying to convince herself that it was the only way. Anna was safe now, and that was all that mattered. But something in her rushed to her room and found herself crying, asking God for forgiveness. Weeks passed, and the weight of the lie began to gnaw at her. Every time she saw Mr. David, his face haunted her. Her parents visited him often to ensure he doesn't escape, because to them he was a thief trying to escape. He had been taken away in handcuffs, and she knew he was suffering for something he didn't do. It was too much. She tried to push it away, but the guilt was too much. It became unbearable. One afternoon, Lena couldn't take it anymore. She burst into tears in her parents' room. She was trembling as she confessed. "I took the money," she sobbed. "It was me. I took the money, not Mr. David. Chidinma was dying, so I did that to save her. I'm sorry," she said, crying. "Mr. David is innocent," she continued, crying. Her parents were silent, their faces a mixture of shock, disappointment, and hurt. They had trusted her completely, and in that moment, they realized how deep her betrayal went. It wasn't just the money, it was the trust she had broken. Her mother was the first to speak, her voice cold. "Lena, how could you?" Her father's face hardened, and he quickly stood up and walked out, with his wife behind him, leaving Lena in their room, whose tears flowed harder, regretting everything she had done. She had never meant for anyone to suffer. She had only wanted to help her friend, but in doing so, she had destroyed the trust of the people who loved her the most. Her parents quickly bailed Mr. David out of jail, and when he returned home, Lena stood before him and knelt, trembling. She apologized, her voice barely a whisper. "So sorry. I never should have done it. I'll never forgive myself for what I put you through," she said as Mr. David looked at her with a kind eyes, understanding in his gaze. "It's all right, miss. I know you were only trying to help," he said, but Lena could see the pain in his eyes, how the unfairness had torn him apart. It wasn't all right, and she knew that now. She had to live with the consequence of her actions. Her parents, though disappointed, didn't abandon her. Although the damage had been done, Lena would have to rebuild the trust she had broken and learn the price of doing the right thing was sometimes more than she could have imagined. And as she stood there in front of the gardener, her parents, and the weight of her choices, Lena finally understood that love and loyalty meant much more than a grand gesture. It meant being honest, even when it was hard, and protecting the people who had always cared for her.